Hello all sentient beings and welcome to the Transmissions Podcast, where we talk all Hasbro, Takara, and third-party Transformers! On this episode of Transmissions, we are joined by Greg from the Unfunny Nerd Tangent as we find out what Transformers were seen at Comic-Con London. Transformers BotBots toys get shown off, and we get a look at Transformers Siege, Sixgun and Prowl. Today is Wednesday, November 7th, 2018, and this is episode 302 of Transmissions.
Welcome to Transmissions, the podcast that is traveling down under to check for the new War For Cybertron Siege toys. I'm your host Charles, aka Big C, and I'm joined by the excellent Transmissions team. Jeremy, aka Yakko.
Hello, how are you doing?
And Daryl, the Cybertronian Beast.
Hey, let's talk Transformers.
All right, and we are welcoming a special guest this week. Well, welcome back to the show, Greg from the Unfunny Nerd Tangent.
Hi, how are you? I thought I should just, let me just try something. Yo! There you go. Is that how it works? Yeah.
Perfect.
Yes. Cool.
Top notch.
Long time listener, first time yodeler. I don't know. But no, thanks for having me back, guys. Yeah, it was a lot of fun last time, and I'm super excited about today.
Well, yeah, thanks for coming on, and I think we do have to apologize because we were supposed to get you on a little earlier to get you in, but we got you in for the last issue of Lost Light that'll be in alt mode this week. So
yeah. Oh no, it's perfect.
And of course, we're sadly Yoshi's the one who invited you on the show, and he's not here this week.
Yeah.
So.
Classic Yoshi.
Yeah, he's like, you can go on the show, but I'm not going to be on it. No, forget that. The world's not big enough for two.
I think that's called delegation.
Tell the Transmissions guys that Yoshi sent you.
Well, like Yoshi, I did used to play the drums, so I think I might be the Earth 2 version of Yoshi or something. I'm not sure. Some sort of, the surnames start with the same three letters. It's eerie.
Yeah, but the Earth 3 Yoshi is the nice one. So that's what
I'll try to shit on textures as much as I can. But yeah, no, in all seriousness, thanks for having me, guys. It's I really enjoyed it last time, and I'm sure it's going to be fun again today. So thank you.
Awesome. Yep. All right. So, of course, we always start off thanking our Donatreons, the folks who continue to give us money for some reason on both Patreon and PayPal. Thank you for supporting the show. We don't have any new people this week, but we do want to mention that the October Transmissions Declassified, so this is Declassified number 14, is out, and you can download it right now if you are a member on Patreon or PayPal. It got in just under the wire on October 31st. And this is a cool episode. I was not on this one, but I did get to listen. Jeremy led this one. So, Jeremy, tell us about what's happening in this episode.
Well, Daryl and I managed to corner Vangelis and Aaron from WTF at TFW in a hotel room at TFCon. And we basically had our way with them, making them talk about Transformers.
Whoa.
That part was not in the recording that I listened to.
This was the right show to come on. Yes. Be on. I should have said. Sorry. Be on.
No, but seriously, we sat down with them, and it's basically a state of Transformers media. We talked about the comics ending, speculated a bit about what we think's coming, talked about Cyberverse, the Bumblebee movie. We even threw a little bit about the trading card game. So it was a fun show.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
It was a fun show. I enjoyed the discussion. Aaron and Vangelis they brought a lot of interesting WTF at TFW discussion to it, and it was cool. It was nice to get another opinion.
All right, yeah. So that's there for our Donatreon. So. And if you want to get access to it, all you got to do is go to transmissionspodcast.com/support. All right. Also, we've got some merchandise at our new TeePublic store, and TeePublic is running a pre-Black Friday sale from November 12th to November 18th. And all tees there are $14. So, great Christmas presents, everyone, you know?
Yeah. If you want to get ours, or we have a number of designs that we've also picked out and added to our store, or just basically anything on TeePublic. But if you can go through our link, we'll get some credit for it.
Yep. So transmissionspodcast.com/shop, I think.
Shop.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we'll also have a link in the show notes as always. So, all right. Well, let's get into the show with some toy news.
All right, so first up, I'm going back a week because last week's toy show was terrible, and we never talked about anything on it. Whose fault is that, Charles?
Yours?
Well, you could have come to TFCon and reined us in, because we were just all over the place.
I put stuff in the dock. I made it available to you. I mean, I tried.
Not hard enough, apparently.
I have no idea what even happened.
This is where Yoshi would normally say, like, it's all your fault, Daryl. So
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So apparently there was a show in London, England, and it's called MCM ComicCon London, and Hasbro was there showing off a whole bunch of new Studio Series stuff. And this was happening on the same weekend as TFCon and we found out about it as it was happening. A lot of people were like standing in lines or walking through the con, and they were holding their phones up and they're showing them to everybody. Oh my God, like, look at this thing. So what we got were a lot of pictures of, displays on the floor, and we got some really cool images of the new Studio Series Cogman, Shatter, which is in the Bumblebee movie, Scrap Metal, cool. We've got Long Haul, Rampage, Optimus Prime, Jetfire, the combined form of Optimus and Jetfire, so Jet Power Optimus, and Bone Crusher. Now, you might recognize a couple of those names as Constructicons, and we'll get more to that in a bit. But we've got a link here showing us a lot of the stuff that's on display of individual figures and their transformations or their robot and alt modes. Some of these look really good. I know that for me, I remember seeing the original pictures or the original releases for. I believe it was Long Haul back when the Revenge of the Fallen movie was coming out, and it looked pretty cool. It doesn't look anything like this, so I'm kind of wondering, because I remember they were saying that they're using the CGI models to make these new Studio Series figures. So there's a big difference between this one here and the original CGI model that I remember seeing. But anyway. Moving on, there's a couple figures here that I'm kind of excited about. One being the jet-powered Optimus. This is from Revenge of the Fallen, and it is Jetfire and Optimus combined. This is a lot of the talk around TFCon was this may negate people going out and having to spend crazy amounts of money on the original Jetfire and Optimus from Revenge of the Fallen. Let's go around the table here and see what everyone kind of thinks about this. Let's start with Jeremy. This is Studio Series. This is a much more budget friendly, as opposed to going after, like, when I refer to budget friendly, I'm talking about the Optimus and Jetfire, because the original are really expensive, but these are a lot more better looking scaled movie figures. Do any of these appeal to you?
Not really.
Okay.
We've talked many times about how the movie designs just aren't designs that I like.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if there was any out of this that I would have to kind of be interested in, it would be That first one, I'm not sure who that is. The red and black car.
Oh, I think that's Shatter.
Shatter.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that car mode looks pretty good, and that would be the only reason I'd be in for it.
Mm-hmm.
It does look like the wheels aren't pegged in very good though, because they're kind of all over the place. But that's par for the course with these types of displays.
Yeah.
I will say, we haven't gotten into it, but the whole Constructicon thing does intrigue me, just based on what I heard at TFCon with the original not combining.
Right.
I never had it. Never really liked this Devastator, but for the people that do like it, it's nice that they're getting this.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Oh, great. Charles, same question. Anything here stand out to you?
Yeah, I agree with Jeremy. The Shatter is kind of the only thing that I'm really interested in. But I think it's good in general that we're like the Studio Series seems to be basically like the Generations line for the 2007 kids. And so I think that's perfectly fine as long as there's interest for these and people are buying them. I hope that they can that Hasbro can support this toy line for the younger generation. So I hope they like it. The one thing that has me a little concerned, at least with the new Bumblebee movie, is that like we've had Dropkick, Shatter, and then we also have Blitzwing. They're all supposed to be triple changers in the movie, but we at this point we're like a little more than a month before the movie, and we still haven't seen any triple changing toys, like toys that actually have 3 modes for these characters. And that concerns me that they haven't actually designed any toys that are actual triple changers. That seems like a missed opportunity.
Yeah, well, it could also be that's just not possible. I agree with you. Studio Series are supposed to be the quintessential toy for the movie, right? You'd think that a Studio Series figure for a movie that's coming out is going to be that, like, the best possible toy. Yet we have no triple changer yet, which like you said, I agree wholeheartedly. There's an issue here. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe we'll have to wait and see what happens with upcoming releases. I guess we have no knowledge. We have no knowledge of upcoming anything. Greg, what do you see here? Anything of interest to you?
Not particularly, to be honest. I think I'm sort of on the same page as you guys. Like the Michael Bay Transformers movie designs, they're not for me, really. I can appreciate that, not everything is for me, and they've made stuff for kids for today and things like that, and they might think they're amazing, and even if they're not kids and someone else goes, yeah, great, I love that character from the movie, cool, like, more power to you. But for me, I'm not too interested. Some of the vehicle modes for the Constructicons there, they look pretty cool in vehicle mode, and the Optimus, the combined Optimus and Jetfire, like that's a pretty good representation of that version of Prime from the movie. So if you were a fan of it, it's a good likeness. It's technically accurate and stuff like that. So if you were a fan of that particular version, then that looks like a pretty good deal to grab. And in the background there, you can see the truck cab mode as well, and like that looks pretty good for what it is. But for me, I'm only out of personal interest. I wouldn't pick them up.
Okay. One thing that this also does kind of confirm so far is that they seem to be doing an Optimus Studio Series for every movie, which is not surprising. So look for a Dark of the Moon Optimus and Age of Extinction Optimus, and then I guess it's the same one, should be the same one for the 5th movie there. But anyway, on to the biggest news out of this MCM Comic-Con for Transformers Studio Series, which is those Constructicons will in fact combine, making a Devastator from Revenge of the Fallen. Now, what Charles alluded to there is that this is the first time that the combining Constructicons will actually have robot modes of their own, seeing as the original figures didn't. They had their vehicle modes, and then they turned into their component pieces for Devastator. So they showed off here a prototype of the Devastator figure, and it's good size. Actually, I think it's smaller than the original, because that original one had some really huge pieces of plastic that turned it into Devastator there. But it looks cool. It looks like the one from the movie. I, for one, honestly don't see Devastator in it. It's a cool looking monster. But it's, that's just a discussion for, movie talk. But a combining figure out of these movie Constructicons that have their own alt mode, I think you got to applaud them for being able to come up with the engineering for that, because that had to have been difficult. But other than that, I think that's really cool. It looks like it's going to come in a box set, which is neat, so you don't have to worry about finding them all separately if this is something that interests you. But then again, a box set will be expensive. So what say you guys? Just a quick word. Devastator, is this something of any interest? Do you like the design? Jeremy?
Well, I mean, like I said before, I never really liked the design, but I am happy that the people that that are interested in it can get a design that actually does fulfill the actual definition of a transforming combiner, where you get all three modes with each figure. Mm-hmm. And I mean, the big question I have is what was brought up at TFCon. Is he going to be neutered or not?
Oh, yes. Well, that's a third-party add-on right there.
Yeah, I could see mini Shapeways kits. Mm-hmm.
Charles?
Yeah, Devastator is a big old meh for me. I was not happy with Devastator and Revenge of the Fallen. I was not happy with the look, with the design, with how it was portrayed, with the scrotum. It was it's not something I was interested in. So it's great for people who want it, but I am not one of those people.
Cool. All right. And Greg?
I'm pretty much with Charles. Although I will say I might have to reconsider if it does come with the huge swinging pendulous balls. Then maybe it might be something to buy. But no, in all seriousness, I'm the same. It's to me, it's just not Devastator. Like, not to be the old guy that's like, oh, that's not the way it was when I was a kid. But yeah, if it was another character, if they just called it something else, I could maybe get behind it. But yeah, that's not Devastator. If anything, if you just showed me that picture without knowing, obviously, from the movie and all that kind of stuff, like if that had been the first image I'd ever seen of anything from Revenge of the Fallen or something, I would, if I had to guess what character that was, I would think like maybe Liege Maximo or something from the Generation 2, the end of the comic there. Sort of got a bit of that sort of vibe about it, but yeah, I think it's a great technical feat, and I'm like Jeremy. I think it's great that if people were after something like this, now they can get it, which is cool. So I mean, the more that's out there, it's better for someone. So, well, great. It's a great thing for them, but yeah, it's that would be a no from me personally.
All right.
We all know that the real Devastator is the green tank from the first live action movie, right?
That's right.
Exactly. Oh, thank you. Green tank forever. Swinging balls never.
Well, that's all I brought this week. Jeremy, what did you have for us?
Well, this was, I think, one of the big talking points, at least on the Transformers podcaster panel at TFCon. And I think Vangelis is just enamored with it, and I really like it too. And since the toy show last week was crap, I'm bringing it up this week. We're going to talk about BotBots for a little bit. This was also announced at the MCM Comic Con, and these are little, I'm guessing like around 1 inch tall figures that transform into everyday objects, and it's to compete with the whole Shopkins craze, from what I hear. They're going to have blind bags, and they're going to have some sets that have like 5 packs or 8 packs. But we have some images here. We get things like a little tiny camera, a little pack of fries, a baseball bat, just a number of little cute things. And the story that they have going on with this is like an energon mist covered a shopping mall, and everything inside came to life as little Transformers. And it's just, someone is having a lot of fun with this, and I thought that we need to talk about it. And I think this is on the complete opposite spectrum of what we were just talking about with the movie studio stuff. So, I mean, what do you guys think about this? Are you familiar with Shopkins, and what do you think of these? Let's start with Greg.
I don't know what the Shopkins thing is, but these actually look okay. Like, I don't think I'd buy them or anything, but they look pretty cool. I like the design of them, and yeah, they're little cute little things. There's one down the bottom that kind of looks a bit like a turtle or a hill or something. That seems a very never-ending story there, that one. That's what's sort of jumping out at me on that one. But yeah, I like the design. The camera one's cool. And even there's a little Little Shop of Horrors type of plant, Venus flytrap style thing there. That looks pretty cool as well. Like I said, I don't know if I'd buy them, but I wouldn't. If my 3-year-old was like, "Oh, Daddy, get me some of these," I wouldn't sort of be like, "Oh no, you're not playing with them." They'd be like, "Yeah, all right, they're cool. They look all right."
I mean, just as soon as the kid's old enough to where you don't think they'll put it in their mouth, because these seem like they would be easily swallowed.
That's true. Yeah. I think this is sort of, it's funny that we went from like Devastator to this, because I think this is, I just think this is the perfect way of sort of highlighting the fact that, like, if you're going to change something or you're going to do something different, then do something different. Like that Devastator character, if they'd have called it something else, then we'd probably just rolled with it a little bit better. But whereas they just go, look, we made some transforming French fries and a camera and an Audrey too. It's like, yeah, cool. All right. I don't think it would offend anyone by looking at these.
Yeah, and some of the little cartoon images that they put along with this, like you have the one that's like a drink cup, getting soda from a drink machine and redirecting the flow to spray it out with a straw at someone else. I mean, someone is having an insane amount of fun with this. Charles, you have a bunch of kids. Are they into the Shopkins thing?
No, my kids.
Are they kind of past that?
Yeah,
age?
My kids are old now. So, well, my youngest is 7, but she doesn't seem to have interest in Shopkins. She seems to only have interest in YouTube. But these are cute. I like these. I mean, I would probably pick up a bunch of these just to put them on my desk or something. Just something to fiddle around with. I think these are cute. And if my kids want them, I'd get them for them too. Yeah, I think these are cool. And I like the whole Terrigen Mist explanation for how they were brought to life.
Yeah, that's very cool. It's funny that nowadays, like, a new thing comes out, and one of the most positive things we can say is like, well, it doesn't offend me. Like, I don't hate it.
Well, I mean, these are all new characters. There's no Optimus, no Megatron or anything, so you can't say that they ruined your character.
Exactly. There's no Murder Prime version or anything.
Right. Well, Daryl, what are your thoughts on these?
I think they're dumb.
They offend you.
Yes, they offend my sensibilities. They
don't have enough articulation.
No. They just seem like a waste of money. I mean, I avoid all the really childish stuff to begin with. These are going to be no different. So, I mean, I don't fault anybody for wanting them. And I mean, my daughter, she's like your daughter, Charles. She's not into Shopkins. I think she has a couple of them just because she's gotten them as gifts or something like that. She doesn't pursue them. I think that if she got one or two of these, she'd mess around with it and then they'd end up in a bin like everything else. But I look at them and I just see something that you'd mess with for like 20 seconds and then you'd lose it, or it would go in a drawer or a bin that you'd forget about. It's I don't know what the price point is on these. I think they're probably $1.99 or $2.99, which is it's adds up. How many of them are there? Looks like there's like 50 of these things.
Ton.
Yeah,
at least.
There's so you got people that are going to want to complete the set. That's a lot of money, man. Like that's a shit ton of money to throw down on these little bastards. For me, it looks like a waste of money.
I am definitely not arguing for being a completionist. I would say getting a couple packs maybe is fun to play with, but yeah, hunting down the entire set, not interested.
Yeah.
But when you have what was the one that Evangelist is going on about, I think it's there's like a soft serve ice cream that in the art was like scared, so he was like pooping out a little bit of ice cream. Right. I mean, come on, you gotta have fun.
He was talking a lot about the donut, which isn't in this main art piece here, or it's on the other link you have. It's leaning up against one of the rocks there, but like he was really commenting on its the facial expressions that they were putting on these things and how I don't know, he was really reading into these things way too much, and
but I think it's that kind of line. Can you think about what the Japanese fiction behind this is?
Oh my god, I don't even want to try. There's probably something that's really dirty going on for some of these things, I think I look at them and I see something that's really cheap, and there's probably a lot of fun that's being made by having them, and it's not for me. It's not like I'm not saying it's killing my childhood or anything like that. It's definitely not, but it looks dumb. It's just too childish. Same reason I don't buy Transformers coloring books.
Well, that is everything I have this week. Charles, what do you have?
All right, well, we had another show. This was in Italy. The Luca CNC 28, Luca CNG 2018. And Hasbro and 20th Century Fox had an event there. And mostly to promote the Bumblebee movie, but they did have some reveals for the Transformers Generations War for Cybertron Siege toy line. And this included another addition to the Weaponizer group, so those bots that can detach and form lots of different weapons. And this time we have Sixgun. And so you might remember Sixgun was the guy that came with the Metroplex G1 toy. It was all the guns that Metroplex had. You could assemble them into a little guy. And so we've got that figure returning, reimagined. And he still splits into a bunch of different weapons that other characters can use. So I think this completes our set of CityBot assistants, don't we? I mean, we had Cog, we had Brunt, and now we have Sixgun. So Cog goes with Fortress Maximus, Brunt goes with Trypticon, and Sixgun goes with Metroplex.
Mm-hmm.
So that's cool. And we also got Prowl. So I think we knew Prowl was coming, but we have a full view of his figure now. And we have a new weaponizer whose name is Taraxodon. So, and as you might have guessed by the name, Taraxodon is a pterodactyl who turns into an axe.
Yeah, he turns into French fries or a milkshake or something.
So these so Sixgun is cool. Also like how they gave Sixgun an alternate mode, a little like spaceship mode or hovercraft or VTOL jet mode. Prowl looks very Prowlish. His alt mode, I guess. It looks vaguely Cybertronian, like a Cybertronian police car. I guess police is written in Cybertronian on the side of his vehicle mode.
Did they change the Cybertronian glyphs there? Because it looks different than older toys that had Cybertron.
Yeah, I think it is different. I don't recognize it as the old script they were using for Cybertronian. And the weaponizer looks pretty cool too. The Taraxodon. It's nice how the wings naturally fold into an axe shape, so that's cool. And then they got the little sparkle of the flare. So yeah, they demonstrate how Sixgun can become armor for Ironhide. So that's that's neat there. Of course, Sixgun can be used with all the figures. I guess all the deluxe figures in the line, probably. So, Greg, what do you think of these figures?
Yeah, I like these ones. I think they're pretty cool. I'm a big sort of Prowl fan anyway, so I think that's as long as they get the head right. I think they're 90% of the way there, and this one is pretty much perfect. I think as far as head sculpt and all that stuff. The alt mode with the Cybertronian car, police car, it could probably be better, but I mean, there's nothing I'd complain about. I like the Sixgun becoming the armor on Ironhide. I think that looks pretty cool, and his general design is pretty nice as well. I like him. He looks good. Face reminds me a little bit of First Aid. A little bit, but he's sort of like a meaner, tougher First Aid or something. Like this one will kill you. But yeah, I think it's good. The Taraxodon, it is what it is. It looks all right. There's nothing. I don't see anything wrong with it for what it is. I like the sort of energon flare or whatever they want to call it, coming off one side of the axe. I think that's quite effective. I've seen that attempted on a lot of things before, and a lot of times it looks pretty crappy, but no, it's got a good sense of movement to it and things like that. So, and just that you can, like, if you were to buy these, Prowl can hold the axe and Sixgun is armor for Ironhide and things like that. So it's not just a one and done. So yeah, these are pretty cool, I think, for what they are.
All right, Jeremy, what do you think?
I like a lot of these. My biggest complaint is one we've talked about before. The alt modes do not really look Cybertronian to me. I mean, Prowl looks like a futuristic police car, but it looks like a futuristic Earth police car. So, I mean, the alt modes look great. Although Prowl, I think when we saw him before, he didn't have any of the yellow markings on him. That helps a little bit, but he still looks pretty plain. This is one where I think having some of the fake scuff marks and stuff might actually do some good, but it looks like he's fairly clean. Sixgun, I think, is great. I'm wondering what you could do if you get him and Cog together and what you can come up with. That would be a fun play pattern. But also, I just love having all these little bits that you can just stick on every other figures. I think Ironhide looks great. We don't see the alt mode, but it looks like they are toning down some of the scuff marks and stuff. And I think he looks fine.
Ironhide was not a reveal. We've seen him before.
Okay. Well, I mean, I was just looking compared to like Sideswipe and Optimus. Mm-hmm. It looks like they've really toned it down for Ironhide. So all in all, I'm still happy with what we're seeing. I want to see it in person.
Yeah. It looks like the toys are getting the shelves, at least slowly trickling out. Very like there's already been sightings.
Oh, yeah, as we get closer to Christmas.
Yeah. All right, Daryl, what are your thoughts?
Well, I think Sixgun is fantastic. The addition of those two red guns kind of gives you Metroplex's original guns again, and that's really fun. You get to have those and really armor up Metroplex if you really wanted to again. But Sixgun is a great addition to this set. Taraxodon, I could take it or leave it. It's a fun little figure that does what it's meant to do, give you a weapon and a little guy at the same time. Prowl, though, I find interesting because it's a futuristic police car, but also I remember that they said that a lot of these cars are going to have the ability to fold their wheels under for like a hover mode. So I'm looking at this thinking maybe this will be one of those, and it'll give them a hover mode, and it'll look a little bit more "quote unquote" Cybertronian.
Especially if they're clear,
right?
Would work well.
So and then I'm looking at the picture of him in robot mode as well, and his gun has his light bar on it. I just think that's kind of silly, but whatever. That's the way that they've designed it. I like the weathering right on the front of his car body, right? Because then that transfers to his chest there. If you've ever driven a car for a very long period of time, years and years, a normal car will actually start to weather there, and it's just from driving into shit. And yeah, so I think that's a really cool weathering pattern on this vehicle. I don't know. I like Prowl. I think he looks cool. And personally, when people say like these things should look more Cybertronian, like what is Cybertronian? Like basically it's futuristic. So
it means why would there be a place for a passenger?
Well, mini cons. I don't know. I understand what you're saying though. Yeah.
That's my biggest thing. It's just like there should be no reason for a cockpit.
Yeah, he doesn't really need a windshield, does he?
Right.
Yeah. So no, I get that. But yeah, I think he looks futuristic enough to pass for Cybertronian for me, especially if his wheels fold under. Mm-hmm. But we won't know that for a bit. But I have to say I like Sixgun the most. I don't think I will be really armoring up as much as I think I will. Like I want to say I'm going to do it all the time, but in all honesty, I'll probably just put Sixgun out in front of Metroplex and leave it at that. But I really love the play pattern. I think it's fantastic. But I really like it. I like the way that this toy line's shaping up.
All right, and one other thing I wanted to mention, because I think this is really should be in the toy show. We have a video from Paris Comic Con that's an interview with Ms. Ran Sun, who is an associate brand manager for Hasbro. So she talks a little bit about how Hasbro has a desire to become more, I guess, globally friendly. Like in particular, she addresses that the European market has been complaining about some of the distribution issues with getting Transformers toys into Europe. I mean, honestly, I could say there's some complaints here in the States too. So that's not.
Yeah, but I mean, we all know people that do podcasts from the UK, and they have complained for a while. So like as bad as we have it, they have it worse.
That's true. I mean, no one has it good as Canada and the Philippines, but in Europe.
What? We're still lacking. I mean, how's Australia getting toys? I mean, are they still have Combiner Wars stuff down there?
Yeah, it's around the place. We're not getting the I don't think we're getting stuff sort of fresh off the boat or anything like that, but it could be better. But yeah, me personally, I'm not sort of out looking for the current toys myself. If I'm looking for something, it's more the masterpiece sort of range of stuff. But they are definitely like the department stores here. Like there's Target and Kmart and another one called Big W and things like that. They definitely have their moments of like everything is Star Wars or everything is Transformers or everything is Justice League or something like that. So and a while ago, like there was a lot of Transformers stuff. I have seen the big Predator King box and like the Triptychon and stuff like that. I've seen them in the stores here around the place, but I mean, I wasn't after them anyway, and $300 plus is even more reason for me not to worry. But as far as shipping and stuff goes, I think we're doing all right. So I'm in an Australian Transformers like collector group on Facebook, and no one in there seems to be really sort of harping on it too much. Like, oh, we didn't get this or that. There are some where they're some are rarer to find than others, but I think that's probably going to be the case in most countries.
Yeah, well, so I guess hopefully Hasbro is working to loosen the distribution channels a little bit. But I thought the video was interesting because she was also the person who introduced the new War for Cybertron figures at the Italian Comic-Con or show as well. And she's been working on the War for Cybertron Siege line and also working on the Studio Series line. And she mentioned specifically that Studio Series is going to continue into 2019 and 2020. So it was an interesting interview. Maybe cool. She's like a John Warden's deputy there or something. So, all right. Well, that'll do it for toys, and we will move on to some trips to the store. And this is where we show off all the cool Transformers stuff we got this week. We will do this as a video on YouTube so you can see everything we got in beautiful high definition. But of course, we will put the audio right here in the show so you can keep listening, and we will describe everything we got. But you should really pop over to that YouTube video and see it for yourself. So without further ado, trips to the store. Let's get into the stuff we got, and I'm going to start us off. So I've got one thing I want to talk about. I put this out on Twitter. It's not Transformers related, but you may have known. I think it's not been a secret. I joined Weight Watchers this year, so it's now called WW. It's been rebranded as like Wellness Wins or something. But I had a milestone. I got 100 pounds. I lost 100 pounds in the last couple of weeks.
Awesome.
So, and I got a little keychain thing.
That's cool.
I don't know if you probably can't see that it says 100 on it. I don't know if it's legible. But yeah, and
that's really impressive.
I got other little charms for all the other milestones I did this year. So
that's a charm bracelet, Charles.
It's a keychain. It's a keychain.
Yeah.
That's just a little bracelet.
That's okay. I'm secure enough in my manhood to have a charm bracelet. That's fine.
How much weight do you have to lose for that to fit around your waist, around your wrist?
Yeah, that's going to be
going overboard.
Although my wedding ring is actually really loose now. Like I have to get my wedding ring resized because it's so loose now. So I guess that's good. All right. So another thing I wanted to show off. So You guys might know Robots with Coffee. Our friend Paul, he did a Kickstarter recently for a Robots with Coffee coloring book, and I backed that Kickstarter and got the coloring book. So I backed it.
I stopped by and said hi to him at TFCon.
Yeah. So I hope you guys all supported him at TFCon. So this is nice. His art is really cool and humorous. I like it. So it's all quirky and everything. He started off, doing parody comics of More Than Meets the Eye, and it's expanded. So this is cool. It also had there's a spin-off, Princess Robo, that also has some funny things there. So it's profiles of all the little princess robots that you can see here. So that's neat. I like Princess Tank Top. And Duchess of Chainsaws.
So. I like that one. That's cool.
And similarly, I should show the inside of the Robots with Coffee coloring book too. So that's cool. I also got he had some stickers and a personalized sketch of a robot farting. He also had some. He had some paper dolls, and he actually commissioned other artists to do the paper dolls. One of them was art by Sarah Peter Durocher, and another one was done by Casey Collar. So,
nice. That's cool.
Very cool. So, thanks, Paul. You're really appreciated. I'm glad I was able to get the stuff and back your Kickstarter. So I hope everything was successful there, and that you had some good times at TFCon. I missed you. I'm sorry I missed you there. I missed everybody at TFCon. It sounds like it was a great weekend. So,
is Charles here? Where's Charles? Everywhere. I talked to a complete stranger. Oh, is Charles here?
Even at Hofbrauhaus, we were asked, "Where's Charles?"
In between the paddling with the waitress.
Well, I travel. And thanks to Jimmers and Jeremy and Daryl. I got a TFCon haul, even though I couldn't be there. So first, I got the Respect the Prime Constructed Cold EP. So this is Jimmer's album with songs inspired by the More Than Meets the Eye comics and the Marvel comics as well. And Jimmers is always putting the Transmissions logo right there as well. Thanks, Jimmers.
That's cool.
And he said he wants us really involved in the next album, so I don't know what that means. Yep. But
I told him as soon as he has an idea to let us know.
It's like a barbershop quartet.
Probably as long as it doesn't involve us singing.
And the sharps.
The last thing I got was scripts from James Roberts. So Daryl hooked me up and got me 4 scripts. This is More Than Meets the Eye number 31. Then More Than Meets the Eye number 55. That's the last issue of the Megatron arc. Then More Than Meets the Eye number 21. And More Than Meets the Eye number 12. And got them all signed. So thanks, Daryl, for getting them all done for me. Appreciate it.
No problem.
And that's all I got this week. So over to you, Jeremy. Or no, not Jeremy. Over to you, Greg.
To me, all right.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't get to go to TFCon either, obviously, because I'm all the way down here. But I did send 2 of my comics to Yoshi, and all I've got is the photos of them, so you can't really see them. I don't think it'll even turn up on the thing. No. Anyway,
too bright.
You just have to take my word for it. It's More Than Meets the Eye number 1 and Lost Light number 1, and he got James Roberts to sign them for me. So that was pretty cool. I did a little video, like a little 30-second video beforehand to say like, "Oh, hi, Mr. Roberts. I'm here in Australia and I can't get there," and all this kind of thing. And from all accounts, it went over pretty well. So I was pretty rapt to hear that. I also have. It took me a while, but I finally managed to get it. Let's see if we can pop up there. There he is, a little MP Megatron.
Nice,
little smiley little smirk there. I never got the first edition they did, MP whatever it was, but I mean that one is far superior in every way if you ask me, so it's probably good that I didn't end up with the first one. And I've had this comic because I don't have this shitty one next to it, so I had this comic for a little while, which as you can see is number 5 of the original Marvel ones with the classic, Are All Dead on there. And again, thanks to Yoshi, giving him entirely too much praise, but in this case, he sort of deserves it. He managed to help me track down a decent copy of the first one there, number 1. Mine had pencil markings or pen markings on it from the shop, which is no good. And issue 2. 3 there with Spider-Man, and 4. So I've got the first 5, which I'm going to do in some kind of display, like in a frame. See the frames behind me there? I'm going to try and put them in something like that all together. And one last thing I managed to find. I don't know if it's much interest to you. It's a bit, I don't know, a bit of a niche market. I don't know who would want them. I found this in a store somewhere, and I thought, I don't know who these guys down the bottom are, but they look like some young go-getters.
That ruins the whole image.
I thought, I want to give these young go-getters a chance. They might be going places. So yeah, but yeah, in all seriousness, he sent me that one as well. So
okay.
Which is cool because I've got to get a proper bag for it, but all good.
Wait, he sent it to you in an improper bag?
Yeah, like this. I thought Yoshi didn't bag this one. No way.
What the fuck?
I mean, maybe he did. Maybe he had some leftover bags or something he was tossing out. But I need to get I use the 4mm ones, 4mm Mylar, so I need to put this one, the transmissions one, in one of those ASAP. But that will be a job for tomorrow, I think. So and then eventually the Lost Light and More Than Meets the Eye will make their way down under. So that'll be a nice add to the collection.
Nice.
But that's it for me.
Cool. I think we didn't totally mention it, just for the people listening. That was the Transmissions Till All Are One #1 variant.
Yes,
exclusive variant. So just for the people listening who are not watching, because I know 90% of people don't watch the YouTube.
Yeah, the classic Straxus and Blaster homage there, which is pretty cool.
Nice. All right, now over to Jeremy, proud former owner of that old MP Megatron.
Yeah.
Or do you still have it? Were you able to get rid of it?
Nope. I sold it.
I can leave him here if you like, if that feels in. You can just...
No, I sold it, so... I don't have the new one. I need to get it, but... What I do have... this was one of the first things that I got at TFCon, thanks to Daryl. Rabelais. Or Mr. Maple. Maple cookies.
Nice.
Daryl's always good about sending those to me.
I could send you some Vegemite if you want it.
No, I actually like eating it. I haven't had Vegemite, but I've heard
staple of the nation. What's wrong with you?
Yeah. I also got the Constructed Cold album, and it is fantastic. Especially, surprisingly, Scroung's Lament is my favorite track on the album.
Really?
It's fantastic.
Whoa.
Yeah. It's like so depressing when you actually like listen to the lyrics and stuff. You're like, oh, such a sad guy. The next thing I want to show off is this coffee mug that I'm drinking from. This is from, if you go to facebook.com/getetched, the girl's name is Kelly that was doing this, and she had like beer steins and pint glasses and a number of things. I'm like, I'm not a huge beer drinker, but I like coffee, and they have a coffee mug. And this is glass. It's pretty high quality, and this is just, it's etched on. This is an Autobot logo. It says Transformers Autobots, but I mean she has a bunch of different designs and pretty cool. And now for some of the good stuff. At our Donatreon meetup, Sergio, who's in Discord as Third Sergio, because I don't know who the first and the second are, but he's first in my heart because he had this Inferno, and he was just like, anyone want an Inferno? I'm like, I'll take it. So for free, I got an Inferno, Titans Return, or Power of the Primes Inferno.
Nice.
So, this is the one where his alt mode kind of resembles the original Robots in the Skies, Optimus Prime. And I'm wondering if there's a way to kind of mod it to resemble it in robot mode. Next I have, and none of this has been opened because I haven't had time, but next I have, thanks to Charles, this was his birthday present to me, the Titans Return Overlord. Just in time for Chris McFeely's The Basics on Overlord. So I like that.
There's still 1 million Overlords at Ollie's, by the way. At least my local Ollie's is like all I have at Ollie's is Overlords, Blitzwings, Octanes, and Crocs and Trigger Happies. That's it.
Well, this is the sole toy purchase that came out of my TFCon money. Was, again, thanks to Charles and thanks to Jimmers for bringing it. Triptychon, which I'm covering up the mic because it's so big. And this was $50 Ollie's Triptychon, and I haven't opened it yet. I have been warned by Daryl and many other people to check the hips and do the modification if it needs it. So I want to make sure I have time to make sure I do that right, because I would hate to have this huge toy and screw it up.
What do they charge for Triptychon over there?
Well, the retail's what, like $150 or
yeah,
something like that, and then this was $50 because Toys R Us went out of business.
Nice. Yeah. So about 300 here. So.
Oh, yeah, this is their price $139.99. Our price $49.99.
So our price, help us.
Yeah, so
our price. We found it off the back of a truck.
Ollie's is a discount store in the States, and they got all the surplus Toys R Us merchandise after Toys R Us went bankrupt. They liquidated it. It all got so we got really good prices on the last Titans Return stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they probably paid $20 for it. They're still making a profit. So that's all the stuff I got that I'm going to show off this week. I have some art stuff that I'm going to show off next week. Try to spread it out.
All right, Daryl, bring us home. What do you got?
Well, I guess I'll show off some comics that I got done at the show. I got 3 sketch covers done at TFCon. I got my first one done by our good friend K-Girl. I gave her a sketch cover and I just said, do what you want to do. She's like, do you have any preference at all? And I said, nope, do what you want. And she gave me Fort Max on my Transformers cover and colored it in. It looks fantastic. So I'm really happy with that. That one's really nice. Thank you, K-Girl, because it looks good. And she did really well at the show from what I understand. So yeah, hope to see her at another one real soon. I gave one to Casey Collar, and he did my Death of Spider-Man sketch cover. And all I told him is that I wanted Spider-Man to look like he had gotten his ass kicked. So, yeah, he beat the hell out of Spider-Man here on this one. It looks really good. I like it. Casey's quite good at drawing, so he did well.
He draws good.
And my last one, this one went right up until the end of the show, and this is from Kazama, and I gave her a Wolverine.
That's awesome.
Nice.
So, yeah.
That is a mad Wolverine.
Mm-hmm. He looks pretty cool. I'm pretty stoked with this one. So, yeah, well done on all their parts. This is pretty cool. And Kay was really she was showing off her skills on the weekend. She does a lot of her work with ink painting. Like, and she literally just is just painting lines with a brush, and it's like surgical precision with this brush, and it was quite a thing to see. So I was really impressed by her skill with that paintbrush.
Yeah. So much talent.
Mm-hmm. I want to thank Yoshi for bringing me some stuff. He had remembered a conversation we had a long time ago, which surprised me first and foremost because both of us have really terrible memories. And he brought me his G2 Jazz still in its package. So that thing is really awesome. I haven't actually even opened this thing up to look. It is open, but I haven't really popped it open to take a close look at it. This was my G1 Jazz when I was younger. I never had an original G1. The G2 was my toy. So I'm pretty excited to have this. It looks pretty cool. So yeah, I'll put this up next to the G2 Make Toys one that I got from TFCon Canada last year, or this year. It was this year. And also Yoshi brought me a G2 hubcap in package. I liked the mini bots that were all super shiny. They were really kind of fun. So hubcap here in his red glory. I kind of remember my brother having this as a kid, but I thought it was Cliff Jumper, so I'm going to have to check and see if there was a Cliff Jumper and a hubcap version of this. I'll look into it later when I have time. One of the big deals that I got at the show was at a parts party where I haggled and got myself a Action Master Shockwave on card sealed for $20. So
whoa.
I was pretty happy with that. I think, Jeremy, you were present while I was haggling.
I watched.
How uncomfortable were you?
I was more uncomfortable just from the number of people packed in that room.
There was a lot of people, yeah. This is pretty cool. Shockwave, the Action Master Shockwave was on my list of things to kind of complete because I've had the figure, but I needed the backpack and the gun. And when I saw him here on Picard, I was like, oh, well, there are both pieces. And then I thought, you know what? I can probably get him for the price that it's going to take me to complete the guy. So I kind of haggled him down to $20. It was good. I had to buy a bunch of other stuff from him though. And luckily enough, he had a bunch of stuff. One of the other things that I got was this in box. This is also Action Masters. This is Sprocket and the Attack Cruiser. It's in its box. It doesn't have the. I believe it probably would have come with a styrofoam insert, so it doesn't have that. But it is loose in there. It does, because it's late G1. It does have the really old box art that you would have seen on those late G1 boxes. So that's pretty fun to look at. But I did open it up, and I did have taken it out because it was open and loose. And there he is there. That's old Sprocket and the Attack Cruiser there. There's a lot of gold plastic on this thing, so I'm going to be sure not to break it up. While Third Sergio was giving Jeremy his Inferno, he did also give me a Nova Star. So I did manage to walk out of the convention with a free Nova Star. Thank you, Sergio. This is fantastic. I have yet to see one of these in stores, but I hear they're around. So cool. Thank you very much. And another fembot to add to the collection. And the last thing I'm going to show today, this is my only pocket scale purchase of the entire weekend. Charles, I know you're into pocket scale stuff. And this was kind of cool. I saw it and I thought, you know what? That is a really cool pocket scale figure. This is Omega Supreme.
Oh.
Pocket scale.
That's really nice.
Yeah.
He's
Looks
awesome.
good. Yeah.
Yeah. I tried to get one the next day and they were sold out.
Mm-hmm. He was $80. He's I've taken him apart and I've put him into base mode, and he's fun. His head is as you would expect, is the tank, and basically it's the tiniest little tank. Look at that thing. So yeah, there it is, and it's articulated, and the little gun moves up and down and stuff. But yeah,
this is the one that we talked about a while back that can go into like the four-legged tank mode, and for the base.
That's right.
It has a couple of neat additions to Omega Supreme.
It kind of takes a different stab at the alt mode for Omega Supreme, and it's a neat figure for sure. I've enjoyed messing around with it the little time that I've had to really take a look at it. But
he's nice and solid feeling.
Very, yes. He's got some really clickety ratchet joints. They're really good. All kinds of joints, waist swivel. Yeah, and then the track does come off the back and then just folds out, and it's quite fun. And I've kind of put it next to the DX9 Devastator that I have, and they're almost around the same height. Devastator's a little shorter, but trying to recreate that scene from All Hail Megatron where they're fighting. But yeah, they're fun. But that's it. That's all I'm going to show today. I have a lot more stuff. I went on a bit of a G1 buying binge, so yeah, look forward to seeing that stuff.
All right, well, that'll do it for Trips to the Store. All right, we're back from our trips to the store, and let's finish up the show with some convention news.
All right, well, we just got back from TFCon, and if you're ready, in 5 months, there's going to be another TFCon. They have announced that TFCon USA 2019 will be March 15th through 17th in Los Angeles, more specifically in Burbank. And they have advertised this as a Generation 1 reunion with pictures of Optimus Prime and Megatron. So you can kind of infer what some of the likely guests will be. John Bailey and Hugo Weaving.
Yes.
No, that goes back to our pre-show chat we were having. No, I'm speculating, and they have not announced it all, but I'm speculating that they're going to have Peter Cullen and Frank Welker and a number of other G1 voice actors, most likely. But I mean, it's pretty soon. Unfortunately, it's going to be the same weekend as Emerald City Comic Con. It's a week before Star Wars Celebration, so it's. I mean, not a week before Star Wars Celebration, but it's like a couple weeks before. And that's a big thing. So I'm unlikely to go. Yoshi is unlikely to go, but hopefully we can get Charles out there maybe. I don't know. We'll have to see. Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. This one might be too close to the current one, but it's good for the people on the West Coast. I mean, they've been the panel that at the very end where people get to ask Colin about, whatever they want to ask about TFCon. I would say a good 70% of those questions were asking about a TFCon on the West Coast. So, hopefully people will show up and, make it worth it.
This is where I have to remind you guys how lucky you are. It's like, oh, not another one, so close.
Yeah. Well, and then in July we have TFCon Toronto.
Ah, there you go. Oh, well, I mean, I can't complain too much. I was lucky enough to Peter Cullen came down here about 4 years ago, so that was pretty cool.
Awesome.
So I'm hanging out for Welker to come though, but I'm not very hopeful.
Yeah, well, he just started doing the conventions, so hopefully he'll get down there.
Yeah. I can dream.
All right. One other thing, convention news, we wanted to shout out Mike Seibert, who has been helping out the Autopod Decepticast guys, but he has his own podcast, and I think Daryl and I both got to talk with him at the convention. I spent a good amount of time at the bar one night just talking podcasting and stuff with him. But he gave us a shout out in his most recent podcast, Mike Seibert Radio, episode 181. We'll have a link here. And then he also interviewed he interviewed Jimmers of the Respect the Prime project, and Jimmers also gave us a lot of shout outs. So thanks to both of you, and check out his interview. It was really great. I hope to talk with Mike more. Maybe we can get him on here sometime. It's always good to make more friends kind of in the podcasting space. So that's it for convention news.
All right, and we did have some feedback, but unfortunately we're running a little long, so we'll have to get to that next week. But thank you for submitting feedback, and keep them coming. We always like to hear from listeners, and if you have some interesting questions we can discuss in the show, we are happy to do that. So again, want to thank our guest, Greg, from the Unfunny Nerd Tangent. Greg, why don't you plug all the stuff you want to plug?
Sure. Where can I start? We are on iTunes, of course, and Stitcher and Google Play and everywhere that you can find a podcast. Basically, we're just a show where there's myself and a couple of Americans and sometimes from various parts of America. And Charles and Yoshi came on our episode about a year and a bit ago, and we did cover Transformers in general. We did the 86 movie, and we did the cartoon and some of the Awful Bay movies and things like that. We try and release at least 2 shows a month on various topics. If there's a brand new movie out, such as Venom or upcoming movies like Creed 2 and Aquaman, we'll cover those. But we do often go back and do some retro shows as well. We recently did a double feature of Beetlejuice and The Nightmare Before Christmas. And this week we're dropping a new show where we've reviewed the comedy from the 80s, Planes, Trains and Automobiles. So we cover a lot of stuff. So if you check out the feed, we've done about 61 shows now. So I'm sure there'll be something that you would enjoy. We're on Twitter at UnfunnyN Tangent due to space. You can follow me at GregT13. It's GREIGT13. And we have unfunnynerdtangent.com as well. I'm actually doing a series of articles I'm calling the 40 for 40 because back when I started it in May, it's a countdown to when I turn 40 in February. So if you think one article a week for 40 weeks and at the end of it, I will be 40. So it's basically my 40 favorite films of all time. So I've covered movies like Copland and Raiders of the Lost Ark and Karate Kid, but we're starting to get into the nitty gritty of things now. So the Godfather was a couple of weeks ago. Last week was The Empire Strikes Back, and this week coming up is The Thing. So the old Kurt Russell monster movie there. So and you can check it out. There is a Transformers animated entry as well. I think that was number 32, but yeah, it made the list of my 40 favorite films. So yeah, check that out. That's unfunnynerdtangent.com, and that'll link you to the podcast and the articles and everything. But yeah, but thanks again, guys, for having me on. It's always fun, and hope to be back one day with no more IDW comics, I guess. Maybe there'll be a different version to talk about.
Hopefully.
And other toys and accessories.
Yeah. And so you will be doing a Bumblebee movie episode in the future, right?
Yeah. I think we should try and do something. I'll get Jared and Tim, and maybe the 7 of us can all sit down and either talk about how what a breath of fresh air Bumblebee was, or we can lament that it was more of the same shit. But either way, it'll be funny, or unfunny, as we like to say.
Yeah, hopefully it is the former.
Yes, yeah. All things look good, to be honest. But yeah, we've been burnt before, so we'll see. But yeah, no, definitely some big shows. We'll definitely, one way or another, we'll cover Bumblebee as well. So
cool.
Yeah, some big shows coming up.
All right, and everyone listening, be sure to check out Transmissions Alt Mode this week in a couple of days, because Greg's going to stick around and is going to help us review Lost Light number 25. So the final James Roberts Lost Light More Than Meets the Eye comic. We're going to talk about it. So look forward to that in a couple of days. But for right now, we'll say good night, goodbye. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Later.
Hey everyone, thanks for listening to this episode of Transmissions. But just because this episode is over doesn't mean the Transformers fun has to stop. Join us and other Transformers fans on our Discord chat server by visiting transmissionspodcast.com/discord. If you would like to learn more about how you could support the Transmissions Podcast, just visit transmissionspodcast.com/support. Thank you all for listening, and we'll see you again next week.
It'll be fine.
Mike can handle
It'll
He'll fix it.
Do you see stuff going on your Audacity right now?
Yeah, it's working.
Okay.
It's working. It's
All
good.
right.
It's good. I just don't know if it's synced. I just kind of blindly hit the record button. Greg, I hope you're not insulted if at some point in time during the show I just start talking an Australian accent.
Sure, no worries.
It might happen.
I'll just start saying a boot.
Hey, that's cool. I'm used to that.
We all sound pretty good, so I guess let's live dangerously and go with only
Except
two
for Daryl, he
backups.
sounds shit. Oh, is this on?
Oh
Right.
my god. Greg got very comfortable as a guest host.
He did. Holy shit.
And
Although
Daryl
Jeremy did tease me about talking about memes, and I got all worked up, and then we never talked about memes. So
I completely forgot. That is the most neglected form of Transformers media.
I said that Charles Xavier had a crush on Mary Jane, when in fact it was, what's her name?
Nobody help him. Nobody help him.